If I were to pick one thing that I miss from playing TF2, it would have to be rocket jumping. It's such a good game mechanic, the sky is literally the limit when you know how to utilize it. I really wish that more games had rocket jumping in them, it's been almost lost in history. Damn, even Deep Rock could include for either the gunner or the engineer, you could use some extra mobility anyway. No, well, maybe when Season 2 finally hits we could get some. Let me check the cosmetic shop real quick.
Last one alive, lock the door! Is my world. You are not welcome in my world. If you know what's good for you, you will run. Ah! Charge! They got a bomb! I joined this team just to kill maggots like you. Loud and ugly, and now you're dead. Amen.
Right, now that we're done with this intro, hey, I'm X-Ray, and this is my favorite PGL overclock, the RJ250. Actually, that's a lie. Hyperpropellant is my favorite one, but let's save that for another video, shall we? So what's so special about the RJ? Well, as you've seen already, it lets you rocket jump like you're playing Quake or TF2, hence the name. This will open up a whole lot of opportunities for you. You can now reach resources that were too high up for you before, you can bypass difficult terrain, speed up your traversal through the caves of Hoxie's and get out of many dangerous situations while damaging everything that's near you, including teammates. It also gives you an extra 6 grenades and cuts your reload time from 2 seconds to 1.4, which is the only way in the game to reduce reload time on this weapon. We can effectively run 2 different builds with this thing. Build number 1, the damage build, which is as close to a traditional PGL build as we can get with a bonus of being able to rocket jump, and build number 2, the I wanna be a budget scout with turrets build. Don't worry, both are viable on Hazard 5 and Deep Dives. I'll go over them in a second, but first I wanna talk about things that both of them share, like primary weapons for example. You want to bring a primary that lets you deal with high health enemies well. You won't struggle with swarmers or grunts at all, but guards, praetorians, oppressors, menaces, patrol bots etc. will be a problem for the PGL, so take that into account. I usually bring a magnetic pellet alignment Warthog with me as it works well in all ranges except for the very furthest of caves, where nothing will be a problem anyway. If you're not a fan of the shotgun or weak point focus, stab you with something like the lightweight rounds overclock or any of the clean ones can work too. I suspect that an executioner lock 1 would work well on this build too, although I don't own the overclock yet so I can't really confirm that theory. Try stuff out, see what works for you. Just make sure that you don't bring a lightweight magazine's Warthog with you like I did that one time. Oh god, oh fuck, why did I bring APA? You should use the hover boots perk on both of these builds too, especially if you've just started learning the art of rocket jumping. You can maybe put them down if you're experienced enough in using the first build, but they'll save you a lot of trouble, trust me. Taking deep pockets is also a good choice, as you don't want to go up to a nitro vein, mine 40 of it and then realize that there's more left and you have to spend another grenade to go back to fully mine it. Son of a bitch. I prefer the big turret over the baby turrets on builds that don't include turret whip. You'll be repositioning a lot, so having to set up 2 of them can be really painful sometimes. With this set of mods you can just place a turret in 2 seconds and completely forget about it while it does its job. As far as grenades go, I usually run proximity mines, even on builds that don't use the RJ. They're really easy to use and really versatile, they just require a bit of planning. It's completely fine to bring lures with you, although you should really think twice if you want to bring plasma bursters, as they can be unpredictable and when they do actually work they fulfill the same role as the PGL and proxy mines anyway. Now that that's out of the way, let's start with build number 1. So, the main and only downside to this overclock is that we do less area damage, which throws a lot of people off, but that can be completely negated by the use of tier 1 and tier 2 mods. This makes it really similar to a stock bandolier build, where we would take ammo mods instead of damage mods, except we get 16 grenades instead of 13, we get a much faster reload time, and we can fly. It's a straight upgrade in that regard, even if we don't take the flying part into account. The main problem here is that on Hazard 5 we'll take at least 15 health damage every time we try to launch ourselves, and this adds up quickly. If you wanted to use this thing as a get out of swarm free card, well, this isn't the build for you. You'll have to be very cautious on when you want to jump, otherwise you'll be eating all the red sugar on the map and your teammates won't like that. This is why dash is mandatory on this build. Both healing perks are good to take too. Resupply for getting more health and therefore 1 or 2 additional jumps from resupplies, and Sweet Tooth for filling your health bar while exploring the caves. Jump only when at full shields or when you know that the damage that you're gonna take from bugs will outweigh the damage from jumping. Or when you wanna take some of them with you. Just make sure you're not near teammates. Wow, that sounds pretty restricting. So what if we didn't want to deal with this shit? What if we just wanted to fly around the map? This is where the second build comes in. With this set of mods we don't kill our enemies on impact, instead hitting them for around half health and setting them on fire. The burn is enough to kill anything below a guard in one shot, although it's gonna take a bit of time for them to die. This makes it way harder to hold ground and you'll be forced out of position way more than you're used to as an engineer. Make sure to hit guards directly for the bonus damage from Spike Grenade and you should be fine. On the plus side, you now have 21 grenades to jump around with, and because of the burn, they only do around 15 damage to your shields whenever you do so. Don't worry, you won't set yourself on fire. You only get to half the heat meter every time you jump, and that will go away quickly. This version of the build is really useful on level 3 complexity caves. You don't have to worry about self-damage or ammunition as much anymore, so you can spend grenades to move around the map faster, jump the distance over a coral to get into a better spot, jump out to that horde of glyphids, grab that night shot that was too high up for you before, you get the point. Dash isn't necessary here anymore, although it's not a bad choice either. You can safely take any other active perk in its place, since you can just jump out of danger most of the time. Field Medic is really nice, Iron Will is good, Steve is an option, you can even take Berserker if you really want to. Anything. Okay, that's cool and all, but how do I even rocket jump? If you've ever rocket jumped in TF2 before, it's pretty similar, except you only have 1 shot instead of 4, making pogo nearly impossible. You're also not as glued to the ground anymore. Guess the gravity on Hoxis is different than on the Badlands? If you're completely new to rocket jumping, let's just say that the learning process can be steep. Don't worry, I'll help you out. Just follow these steps and you should have a general idea on how to fly. It'll take some experience to pull off consistently though. Feel free to load up a complexity 2 or 3 map on Hazard 1 to practice. I'd advise you more open biomes too, like dense biozone, sandblasted corridors or glacier strata. They usually have high ceilings. Okay, I'm on the map. What now? Step 1. Look for a destination. Be it a nitro vein that's high up or a Mactera that you wanna hit with a pickaxe, you need to know where you're going, otherwise you're just pumping your legs for a shrapnel and possibly falling to your death for no reason. Step 2. Jump. You'll get way higher and further if you jump before launching yourself. You also take less damage since you'll be farther from the explosion. Step 3. While you're jumping, look downwards at an angle. The angle that you look at will depend on where your destination is. If you wanna go as high as possible, shoot underneath your feet. If you wanna go as far as possible, shoot somewhere around a 30-degree angle from where you're standing. If you wanna go really far, it helps if there's a wall that you can prepare yourself from. This part will take experience. Step 4. Press mouse 1. And play some appropriate music while you're at it. God, this song brings back so many memories.
Come get me.
Also, step 5, very important. While you're in the air, pull out your platform gun and place one of your pancakes where you want to land. Remember that it takes like half a second for them to deploy. What? Oh, you wanna know why nobody talks about it then? Oh, that's because Fatboy is a thing. Yeah. Most people don't even know that hyperpropellant exists because of it. People always argue that this overclock doesn't do damage because of the red text, even though they've never looked at the actual stats. Look, what I'm trying to say is, give this thing a chance. Give weapons and overclocks a try before shitting them for being bad. I used to hate this hobby at first, but I've tried out many different builds on the internet and I finally found one that made me fall in love with the weapon. And I have like 3 overclocks for it maybe? So go, experiment, have fun. You don't need to have the most optimized loadout to win in this game, it's a PvE game anyway. And who knows, maybe you'll dig out a weapon that you thought you'd never use again and it'll become your favorite. Meanwhile, I'm just gonna sit here and wait for Season 2 to finally release. If you wanna stick around and help a fellow Dawi out, or dwarf as he Umgi Wazok Skalas, hit subscribe. Seeing that number go up makes my tiny little brain release the happy chemicals. Hope you'll enjoy your stay. Thanks for watching and staying till the end.